When your nonprofit is small, almost everything can live in one person's head. If you're the founder or executive director, your team might be looking at you to remember the donor follow-up, the board packet, the volunteer schedule, the grant deadline, and the Canva login, etc., etc., etc. You're basically the human hard drive for the entire organization. But as your team grows, the phrase, "just ask Angela," stops working. So here's the reality. Organization growth does not automatically create organization capacity. In fact, if you just add people to your board, your volunteer team, or your staff without adding structure, growth can create major confusion. Instead of operating smoothly, you might be wasting hours every week putting out fires or helping a growing team figure out how to do their jobs. And hey, no judgment here. I went through this personally with my own organization in the first few years. So I saw firsthand, it's not good for your mission. It leads to stress, overwhelm, and burnout for yourself and for your team. Something 95% of nonprofit leaders are concerned with right now, according to recent reports. So today, I'm going to walk you through 5 specific systems that you need to build in your nonprofit so the work feels streamlined and effective and less like a stressful mess. And I'm going to go beyond this video too. To help you actually implement some of these systems, I put together a free project management tracker template that you can use with your growing team right now if you'd like. Just drop a comment below with the word tracker and I'll send you the download link. So let's take a look at our first organization demessifying system. Do you want to avoid conflict and confusion with team members? I bet you do. This first system is what you need. It's a decision-making system. So when a team grows, they desperately need clarity on 4 things. Who makes which decisions? Who needs to be consulted for decisions? What decisions require board approval? And what can other board members or staff or team members decide without waiting for permission from the chair or executive director? So if you do not have a system for this, your team will either bottleneck around the executive director, or perhaps that's you, or they will accidentally step on each other's toes, and either one of those could potentially cause conflict. Trust me, decision-making bottlenecks are one of the silent killers of organizational speed and culture. So here's how to assess if you're in this situation. Ask yourself this: if you take a 1-week vacation, does work stop because people are waiting on you to approve things? If your answer is yes, you need this system. So here's what you do. You're going to want to create a simple decision rights chart, or who owns what matrix. Really formal names, I know. This is a 1-page document that lists your core operational areas like social media, decisions around spending under some financial threshold, or volunteer scheduling. And it explicitly names the person who has the final say. Quick pro tip here: if you're a founder or leader in your organization, it's going to be very tempting to put your name down on every single row. Don't do it. Avoid this temptation. This is what leads to bottlenecks and burnouts. We've got to delegate. Creating these tools is the perfect time to sit down with your current team and start that delegation process. And if that's difficult, start small. A few small things that other people can own and run with, and build your comfort from there. Here's the scene. You find yourself constantly repeating instructions or information to the same people. Meetings are dragging on, and there are so many meetings. You need system number 2, a communication system. This system dictates how your team shares updates, flags, issues, and avoids turning every single question into a whole 1-hour meeting. Here's the thing: most growing teams don't have a communication problem because they aren't trying or they aren't paying attention. There's a lot going on in the world. Teams need a way to prioritize and organize all the information coming at us constantly. So teams struggle with this because there are no shared rules of the road, and it costs organizations. I saw this one report recently about how the average team spends about 1/3 of their week in meetings, and 71% of those meetings are unproductive. So here's how to think about this if it's an issue for your organization. Are your team members constantly saying, "I didn't see that email," or are you having meetings that could have been a 3-sentence update? If so, you need a communications playbook. This document outlines your team meeting rhythm, where project updates live, what belongs in an email versus a Slack message versus a meeting, and how urgent issues get escalated. And it might even include a standard team meeting agenda that structures how to prioritize which items. This could take you 20 minutes to write, but it's going to save you hundreds of hours down the road. Does it ever feel like there's a lot to do, but nobody ever seems to know who's doing what or when things need to get done by? You might need our third thing, a project and task management system. This is about moving from memory-based work, everything being in your head, to visible work and accountability. That means getting the to-do list out of your head and documented in a way that the team can actually act on without waiting on you to tell them what to do. So if every task is buried deep in someone's inbox or in a notebook or in their brain, your organization is really fragile. I mean, think about it. If someone gets sick, that work stops. You need a shared project tracker with clear owners, clear deadlines, and a place to track items that you are waiting on. Here's how to assess if this is a need for your organization. Can you look at a screen right now and know exactly what your team is working on this week without having to ask them? If not, the tool you need is, like I said, a digital project management tool. This could be Asana or Trello or Monday.com or even a well-organized spreadsheet. And again, if you're not ready to invest in project management software, I do have that free project management tracker spreadsheet template for you. And if you'd like that, comment the word tracker below and I'll send you the link to download it. Ever have folks asking constantly about where to find passwords to the organization software or where to find this or that document? You might need system number 4, a knowledge and documentation system. This is the here's how we do things around here system. It could look like a well-organized online file folder, including your standard operating procedures, your templates, your onboarding documents, access to a secure password database, and checklists for recurring processes like grant reporting. I can tell you from personal experience, this one in particular was a game changer for my organization. Once my team knew where to find things without me, I probably saved at least a few hours per month directing folks here or there. Documentation keeps your organization from resolving the exact same problems over and over again. It also makes hiring, delegating, and staff or team or board member transitions so much easier. Organizations with strong onboarding and documentation processes improve new hire retention by 82%, according to a study for Glassdoor. So here's how to assess your situation. If your social media manager or volunteer quit tomorrow, how long would it take for you to figure out how to post to your accounts and run your newsletter? What you need here is to set up something like an operations wiki. Now, I mentioned before it might be a shared online folder, file folder like Google Drive or a Notion board. So that could be your single source of truth for all of your recurring processes, and the core people on your team should definitely have access to it. Now, if you're finding your team or volunteers or staff has high turnover, it could be a sign that you need to strengthen your fifth and final system, your people support system. This is the system for helping your staff, your volunteers, and your board members actually succeed once they're part of the organization. A growing team does not just need more people, it needs people who understand their roles, feel supported, and know exactly how their daily work connects to the larger mission. This system includes clear role descriptions, regular check-in processes, feedback loops, and workload conversations for volunteers and staff. And according to HR analytics data from Effectory, team members who have clarity about their role and what they're supposed to be doing are 53% more efficient and 27% more effective. So we definitely want that in our organizations. Here's how to assess if you need this. Do you have a recurring scheduled time to talk with your team members about what they're working on, their goals, what their workload might look like? Or do you only talk to them when a task needs to be completed? To beef up the system, you might start with a role clarity and review description. This is going to be a document that clarifies the duties of their roles and goals, and also describes when and how you will all check in to see how things are going and share feedback. This ensures that every person in your organization knows what success looks like for their role and guarantees that they're going to get regular feedback on their progress, which is super important for folks. Now, any growing organization needs the right system and tools to succeed, especially when it comes to fundraising. So I'd like to take a moment to thank the sponsor of this video, Click and Pledge. Click and Pledge makes it easy for nonprofits to start strong and scale these fundraising systems with confidence and empower their boards and their volunteers and team members to help raise money for the mission too. With Click and Pledge, you're going to get professional grade tools for super affordable startup level costs from day one. They've got customizable donation forms that you can plug right into your website. And these forms form the foundation of a strong online fundraising strategy. But Click and Pledge also has a number of other tools included in their affordable flat monthly costs that you can use as your organization is growing. Things like in-person and peer-to-peer fundraising features, video fundraising, which is super compelling for folks and very much inspires donations, and it's got embedded donation links right in the videos. They've got text to give tools, donor management and reporting tools, Salesforce and other integrations, all included with no contracts or surprise add-on fees. And one thing I love about them is that unlike some platforms that increase your fees as you grow, Click and Pledge pricing stays the same whether you have 10 donors or 10,000 donors. So you can use the QR code and link in the description to check out Click and Pledge, book a demo, and get your first $25 monthly fee waived. Growth can be really exciting, but it will break your organization if you don't build the scaffolding you need to support it. Now, you don't need to build all 5 of these systems this weekend. My advice is to pick the one that is causing you the most stress right now, whether that's decision-making, communications, task management, etc., and start there. And if task management is your biggest headache, let me solve it for you today. Comment the word tracker below, and I'll send you that link to download my free project management tracker template. And if you want to go deeper on how to run your nonprofit effectively, make sure you are subscribed to my free weekly newsletter. I've got that linked at changemakercafe.com or below this video. It's where I share more resources and strategies and even funding opportunities that I come across. And if you're thinking about how your team can get some additional role clarity, especially if you're that organization that has some tension around board and staff roles, you really might find this video helpful. It's all about figuring out who's supposed to do what between your board and your staff. I'm Melanie Smith. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss a video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.